Good afternoon. I hope you are all safe and well. Thank you for tuning in to our live event about employing and upskilling young people in Moray. For those who do not know me, my name is Sarah Baxter, Programme Manager for Developing the Young Workforce in Moray. And here with me is my colleague Amy Stephen, our Business Liaison. Before we begin, I would just like to make you aware that this is our first live event that we are hosting ourselves on social media for employers, which is super exciting, but please bear with us if we experience any technical problems throughout. Hopefully technology, however, is on our side, and fingers crossed we do not experience any losses in internet connection with any of our speakers. I hope you enjoy the event. I would now like to pass you on to my colleague Amy Stephen, who will explain how the event will run and briefly discuss DYW Moray.
Thank you, Sarah. Good afternoon. I'm delighted to see that so many of our Moray employers are still thinking about investing in our Moray young people during these uncertain times. In Moray alone, we currently have 525 18 to 24-year-olds searching for work, and in total, 1,213 18 to 24-year-olds claiming universal credit. This number is surreal, but with the help of employers and new financial support from Scottish Government and partners, we will hopefully be able to see these numbers decrease over time. As Sarah mentioned, we both work for Developing the Young Workforce in Moray, DYW Moray for short. Our aim is to work with businesses like you, educators and partners to ensure that our Moray young people have the opportunity to learn and prepare for Moray's world of work. We do not normally support young people directly, but it is our job to support and help businesses engage with and support young people. Today's event is all about supporting a new national initiative, the Young Person's Guarantee. This initiative has been brought out as a result of the negative impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on youth unemployment. The employer ask of this initiative is to connect with young people through offering more opportunities, whether that's employment or upskilling activities. Throughout the afternoon, you will hear from a range of our experts who will speak for 10 minutes to explain the different initiatives you can get involved in and what funding is available to you. You will hear from Jacqui Taylor, who will speak about modern apprenticeships. We also have Fiona Campbell here to discuss graduate apprenticeships. Jan Bruce is here to explain what funding is available for employers who want to upskill an apprentice in the workplace already, or in fact employ an apprentice as well. We also have Sarah Medcraf from Moray Chamber speaking about the new KICKSTART Employability scheme. Jane Munro covering initiatives brought to you by the Department of Work and Pensions. And last but not least, we also have Amy Cruikshank explaining Mary, another new initiative with funding employers can apply for. So throughout the event, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments box and we will get to them at the end of each presenter. Thereafter, if we don't have time to answer the questions there and then, we will also have a Q&A at the end of the session once everyone has presented. Please note this session is being recorded and will be available to watch after the event. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Jacqui Taylor to the screen, Head of Marketing and External Relations at Moray College UHI, who is going to speak about modern apprenticeships. So Jacqui, I would like to hand over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Sarah. Welcome, everybody. I hope you find this afternoon useful and I hope you get some good information from my presentation. So as Amy said, I am the Head of Marketing and External Relations at Moray College UHI. For those of you who don't know, Moray College is part of the University of Highlands and Islands, Scotland's newest university. We offer, amongst other things, a range of full and part-time courses which range from entry-level to PhD, as well as short industry-accredited programmes and bespoke training provision as requested by employers. For today's presentation, I'm going to talk about the Modern Apprenticeship Programme. Moray College runs a very successful Modern Apprenticeship Programme, which I manage on behalf of the partnership. So my presentation will cover the following key areas: an overview of the programme, As modern apprenticeships are based around work-based learning, I plan to cover what this means, as many employers and apprentices do struggle with this concept. I'll talk about funding for the modern apprentices and the employers and the eligibility, support to the employers and the apprentice when they're on the modern apprenticeship programme, the benefits to your business, and then progression from the modern apprenticeship programme. So what is the modern apprenticeship programme? So modern apprenticeships, which I'm going to refer to going forward as the MA programme, are part of the growing apprenticeship family funded by Skills Development Scotland, which includes the Foundation Apprenticeship and Graduate Apprenticeship programmes. Skills Development Scotland manage the MA programme on behalf of the Scottish Government, and they provide funding to training providers who work directly with the employer and the apprentice in the delivery of the MA. MA programmes will vary in duration from 1 year to 4 years depending on the individual framework. The MA programme is a work-based training programme, which provides individuals the opportunity to undertake a nationally recognised qualification while working. So how is it funded? Funding is provided for the training towards the MA qualification. However, the level of funding is dependent on the age of the apprentice. All 16 to 19-year-olds will receive full funding. Thereafter, it reduces for the older age groups 20 plus and then 25 plus. The level of funding reduction does vary depending on the specific frameworks. For example, within growth sectors, the funding reduces only slightly as the apprentice gets older. So this includes areas such as food and drink manufacture and engineering. It is often the case, however, that alternative funding may be available to cover the shortfall in training costs for employers who wish to take on an older apprentice. The individual training providers will be able to provide support to source this as required. And recently, the government has announced funding to support employers to take on an apprentice through the Apprentice Employer Grant, AEG for short. Up to £5,000 is available for employers to take on a young person aged 16 to 24, and up to £3,500 for those aged 25 plus. The grant also covers existing employees who are moving into a new role within the company and are looking to upskill. Jan from Skills Development Scotland, I understand, will tell you more about this programme later. Employers are required to pay the apprentice wages, and the terms and conditions should be the same as any other employee working in the business. So what modern apprenticeship frameworks are available? There are now over 100 ME frameworks to choose from across many sectors, so there should be a framework to suit most businesses. These are set at various academic levels, meaning that the apprentice can start where they need to and what suits the business and progress to a higher level as required. Each framework is based on Scottish vocational qualification. These are described as work-based training. This means that the apprentice has to provide evidence towards the achievement of the qualification through the tasks they undertake in the workplace. In all cases, this would include the achievement of units which make up each framework, and this is recorded on a portfolio. It is important, therefore, for both the employer investing in the young person and the young person that due consideration is given to the choice of units at the outset. Support is provided to help with this. Many MAs can be achieved without the need to attend college or leave the workplace for training. If college attendance is required, then travel and accommodation as relevant may be covered. Employers are required to pay the apprentices' wages when they're at college or off-site to do the required training towards the achievement of the apprenticeship. Ideally, employers should appoint a workplace mentor for the apprentice, especially in the early days of the programme, and if the apprentice is new to the business or just left school. So what support is available to employers? A lot of what I have just covered may sound complicated, especially for employers who may have never taken on an apprentice before and will have a lot of questions. Some of the more common questions or concerns employers raise includes, I don't have time for this. I am not looking to recruit. Do I have to keep the apprentice on at the end of the programme? What happens if my business priorities change, or if I find I can't afford to keep on the apprentice? Am I committed to keeping them? As an MA provider, we understand that employers are busy with the day-to-day operations of the business. So we work with the employer to make sure that they can take advantage of the programme without creating unnecessary work. We provide a full range of support from the start of the process, including advice on how best to advertise for an apprentice and help advertise vacancies across our social media networks. Although for most MA frameworks there is no specific qualifications required, there are some where it is advisable for the proposed apprentice to possess a minimum level of understanding or qualification in certain subjects, and we do advise employers of this. An example of this would be within engineering and automotive, where a good level of maths is advisable so that the apprentice is able to complete the qualification. Once the apprentice is recruited, our in-house training coordinator and assessor will support the development of a suitable training plan in consultation with the apprentice and the employer, developed around the employer's business needs. We provide ongoing support through quarterly reviews with the apprentice and their supervisor to ensure progress is being made as expected. We work to support with any issues and signpost to external organisations as required for advice and help. The assessor will help with the choice of the Scottish Vocational Qualification units at the outset, and their role is then to support the apprentice and review their work towards the Scottish Vocational Qualification portfolio. They also work closely with the training coordinator, the employer and the apprentice. Contrary to popular belief, employers don't have to recruit a new employee if they want to take advantage of the apprenticeship programme. Existing employees are eligible for the programme, and this can be an ideal way to motivate and upskill your existing workforce. We are seeing more and more employers taking this route, especially at this time where recruitment can be difficult due to challenging trading conditions. Employers are not legally required to keep on an apprentice at the end of their programme. If they are unable to, ideally this should be discussed earlier rather than at the end of the programme. If this is the case, then the training coordinator, i.e. ourselves, will help the apprentice source alternative employment. Similarly, if business priorities change and the employer is unable to keep the apprentice, then our training coordinator will help the apprentice find alternative employment. And there is also currently funding available through the Adopt an Apprentice scheme for employers to take on existing apprentices who have been made redundant. So what about progression after the modern apprenticeship programme? Once the MA is completed, this does not need to be the end of the learning journey. Many apprentices go on to higher level study, including the graduate apprenticeship programme, which Fiona will discuss later, or go on to study a range of university courses on a part-time basis, such as higher national certificate courses and/or degrees. So what are the benefits to the business? There is no doubt that taking on a modern apprentice can be ideal for your business, no matter what size and stage in development. Even the smallest business can take advantage of this programme. Programme offers businesses the opportunity to invest in Murray's young people by providing them the opportunity to train towards a nationally recognised qualification while working. For businesses, the programme ensures that they can develop and grow highly qualified and skilled staff to ensure business competitiveness, growth and sustainability. Having an apprentice in the workforce can help to motivate and develop existing staff, as they may be involved with supporting the apprentice through being a mentor, teaching them the skills required to carry out the tasks and seeing them progress and develop. So overall, the benefits include trained workforce tailored to your needs, improved quality, investment in your organisation's future, confident, qualified and motivated staff, increase in productivity and reduction in staff turnover and staff self-development. So I'm now going to finish with a couple of quotes about the MA programme experience from two of our previous apprentices and one of our employers. I would describe my apprenticeship as one of my greatest achievements. I am able to do an engineering qualification while gaining experience in the workshop. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Doing an apprenticeship is a great way to learn. You get to work with experienced staff who help you develop those skills required. And from an employer, apprenticeships are really important for your business. They offer practical experience while also studying at college. So that's the end of my presentation about the Modern Apprenticeship Programme. For more information about the specific frameworks we offer through Moray College UHI, just please visit our website and you'll see the web address along the bottom of the screen, or call me to arrange a meeting on Elgin 576 425, or drop me an email, jacqui.taylor.murray@uhi.ac.uk. So thank you very much. And I just wanted to very quickly mention the Flexible Workforce Development Fund, because there's a new fund out specifically aimed at small to medium enterprises, which I'm hoping would be of interest. So the Flexible Workforce Development Fund for businesses who pay the apprenticeship levy is now in its 4th year, with many local employers having benefited from the £15,000 available for employee training, which we've delivered for them. In 2021, the government has announced an additional fund for small to medium enterprises. So that's those who up to 250 employees who can apply for up to £5,000 for staff training. The fund is open for applications till July 2021, and the training has to be completed by March 2022. However, please bear in mind that funding is limited and it's awarded on a first come, first served basis. So if this is something you've been interested in finding out more about and how you could benefit, then please just get in touch with me. Or check out our website on www.moray.uhi.ac.uk. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacqui, for that great overview of modern apprenticeships. If anybody's got any comments or questions for Jacqui, please pop them in the comments box underneath the YouTube video or the Facebook video. We'll come to them at the end if we haven't addressed them just now. So I'll just give everybody a few minutes to drop in some comments or some questions if they have anything. Okay, I can't see any coming through at this point in time, Jacqui, so I would like to thank you for that. And we will now bring up Fiona Campbell, our Business Development Manager from Robert Gordon University, and Fiona is going to discuss graduate apprenticeships.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Sarah. Good afternoon, everyone. A big thank you to Sarah and Amy for asking me to be part of their event. Yeah, as Sarah said, my name is Fiona Campbell. I'm the Business Development Manager at Robert Gordon University. This is RGU's 4th year of offering graduate apprenticeships, and September will be our 5th. So, and I've been involved in it from the start. So there is no such thing as silly questions. So happily fire some into the comments box if you think there's anything you want to ask. Hopefully I'll give you a bit of an introduction to what a graduate apprenticeship is, but I'm always happy to speak to people directly if they think there's anything more they need. So graduate apprenticeships provide fully funded, structured training to degree level for your employees. It's a great way to either mould new recruits from the outset and or upskill your current staff to make your business more productive. Graduate apprenticeships are a 4-year structured degree programme. They link practical experience with academic learning and are delivered with blended learning from both on-campus days, about between 4 and 8 a year where you come to Aberdeen, and then they're being virtual at the moment, and then online materials and practical elements in the workplace. Graduate apprenticeships are SCQF level 7 to 10, which follows on nicely from the foundation and modern apprenticeships. It is definitely an apprenticeship family. So if you've got people going through those foundation or modern apprenticeships and you're wondering where next, it's a great follow on for us. They're usually down at sort of levels 5, 6 and 7, and we'll start at 7 and go upwards up to the degree level. So we'll get your employees up to an honours degree. Previously, the training pathways relied on students either going directly to university into full-time education to get a degree, or go to an apprenticeship to get the work experience, but very few of them went up to degree level. So this, in our opinion, is the best of both worlds. They get a lot of work experience with yourselves, but also get that degree at the same time. It doesn't mean it's the easy option, as they have to do a full-time job and a full-time degree at the same time, but it is a fantastic option for those who want to do that working as well as learning. As I mentioned at the start, these courses are fully funded by Skills Development Scotland, so there are no direct costs for the organisation, other than obviously the employee costs of having a member of staff. Over the past 4 years, RGU has enrolled over 500 apprentices across 7 different subjects, and we are hoping to offer these 7 subjects again in September, pending the funding. So the 7 subjects that we cover for graduate apprenticeships are IT management for business, engineering, design and manufacture, engineering, instrumentation, measurement and control, construction in the built environment, accounting, which is a 5-year course with either ICAS or ACCA as the professional body that gets them to being a chartered accountant in 5 years, and then business management and data science. Now, I left business and management and data science to the end, as these 2 subjects, we are running an additional cohort. We ran the cohort in September, but SDS had some funding left over and approached us about adding in an extra cohort. So those are our 2 most popular and ones that we reckon that people are actually in demand for at the moment. So we're running an additional cohort starting at the end of February, and we're still accepting applications for it. So if you have anyone in your organisation who you think might be suitable, I'd be keen to chat to you after this event. And the deadline for applications for that is at the end of January, so we do need to move quite quickly if you are interested. Anyway, that's my big plug. Let's get back onto it. The reason that we come to employers first is that this being a work-based learning degree, the employers have to fully support the apprenticeship throughout their learning. If we or they don't get the support, it becomes burdensome and almost impossible to complete. So RGU work in partnership with the employer. RGU provides the sector-specific theory and the critical analysis and reflective learning, and the employer provides the sector-specific practice and the soft skills or business skills. Each employer signs a collaboration agreement that says that they will provide a workplace learning environment, a mentor and subject matter experts. They will co-create learning plans. They will identify work activities and opportunities. They will provide protected study time and release their employee for on-campus days, and that they will communicate with RGU throughout. So there's a huge involvement of the employer. It's not just send them off for training every couple of weeks and then they'll come back and they'll do their job. It is integrated into their working day and into their working week, and it's for 4 years, so it's quite heavily involved with the employer. But the benefits to the employer is that this is suitable for both new and existing employees. It can help mould recruits from the outset and access high quality staff training at no extra cost. It was designed with industry for your business needs, and it helps to develop and retain skilled employees, as well as enhancing productivity, morale, and service quality. There's also the added value to your business in that you can develop other employees through mentoring apprentices and sharing their learning experiences, and also develop a close working relationship with RGU, which can often lead to future projects that can help you to solve your industry problems, any industry problems that you might have. And that's why, as a business development manager, I'm really keen to speak to you about all of the things that RGU can do to support you. And quite often, this is the first step in building that relationship with you guys. RGU work closely with Interface, Innovate UK, and innovation centres like the Data Lab and Census to support companies to drive innovation and growth within their business. There is a range of support for both apprentices, mentors, and the employers. We have a mentor peer group discussions with opportunities for training and opportunities for training and opportunities to access further funding. So as an employer, you're not just saying, right, here you go, here's your program, off you go. We will work with you all the way through to make sure that you can continue to get that support that you can help. For apprentices, there is access to dedicated workplace mentor and subject matter experts. There's peer group support, there's study groups, there's the RGU union, and also our RGU library. And for everybody, there's the course delivery team, which is the course leader, the course tutors. There's a GA success coach for the apprentices and a GA mentor consultant who will support you throughout for your mentoring people. RGU appreciate that this is an extremely difficult and different time for everyone. So we want to work with you to utilise the talent you have, as well as show support and confidence to your employees and drive productivity in your business. So to cover again, we have 2 extra cohorts starting the last week in February, which is data science and business management. And I raced through them before. So the next plan is to run 7 courses again in September. This is all dependent on SDS's confirming what funding is available. But assuming that we get funding for all our 7 courses that we usually run, it will be IT management for business, engineering design and manufacture, engineering instrumentation measurement and control, construction in the built environment, accounting, either with ICAS or ACCA support, data science and business management. So yeah, that's all that I was listed to do. So if you have any questions, I would love to hear them.
Thank you very much, Fiona. I cannot see any questions in the comments box for now, so at the moment we'll leave it there. We'll come back to the end of the event and run through any burning questions anybody might have throughout the remainder of the event.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Fiona. Next up, we have Jan Bruce, Relationship Account Executive from Skills Development Scotland, who's going to cover the Employer Apprentice Grant. Welcome, Jan. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you to Sarah and Amy for having me along this afternoon. It's great to be here and to be talking to you all in a very strange environment that we're not used to, but that's all good. So I'm Jan Bruce. I'm a Relationship Account Executive with Skills Development Scotland. You'll often hear us talked about as SDS, not to be confused with SCS, who sell sofas, but that does happen occasionally. My job is to work with businesses and support businesses to use the benefits of work-based learning to upskill staff, to do some succession planning, to think about the future of their workforce and the development of those individuals. For those of you who don't know about Skills Development Scotland, we are the national skills agency for the whole of Scotland. So we work from the Orkney in the very top and Shetland down to Dumfries and Galloway and everything in between. We work with both business and individuals to develop and apply new skills and learning. So we work with individuals when they're in schools through our career information advice and guidance service. We work with individuals post schools in our centres across Scotland. And we also work highly with businesses to support businesses to look at their own development and think about what they need to go forward and drive success progression. And I suppose we can't really have this kind of conversation without sort of accepting the environment that we're in. COVID has been a huge driver for a huge number of changes over the last 9 months. We've seen a major economic impact with COVID. Outputs across all sectors have fallen dramatically. And we're probably going to have further economic shocks. So we have Brexit, and we're just starting to see how that's going to affect us going forward. We have the end of furlough. And who knows, we may well have further public health restrictions going forward. So with all of that in mind, it was really important to us to think about how we try to continue to support employers and think about the help and support you might need going forward. Someone mentioned earlier, and I think it was Jacqui Taylor, was talking about the fact that COVID isn't impacting everywhere, but it is impacting primarily more in rural areas and for young people. So young people are going to be affected more than others potentially, and that's why we're really keen to try and look at the field of apprenticeships and how we continue to work with young people to create opportunities for them across Moray and also across the wider country. Fiona and Jacqui have both done a brilliant job there about talking about apprenticeships and about the apprenticeship family. At the moment, that family consists of foundation apprenticeships, which are for young people who are still on a school roll and work alongside our local college in Moray to undertake training and learning and working alongside an employer to gain workplace experience and knowledge. We then have modern apprenticeships that are workplace based, and graduate apprenticeships that Fiona has just talked us through that also provide an amazing opportunity for staff to work to degree and honours degree level in the workplace at the same time as earning a salary. And they both did a brilliant job about the benefits of apprenticeships and what they mean to us and why they're so important. But I would just like to share a very quick quote that I heard this morning. I was on a webinar with a training provider this morning, and there was an employer there talking about their apprentice and what they had brought. And the quote was, "We value him." And I thought that was really important to talk about the fact that apprenticeships and apprentices and young people can bring real value into your workplace. So it's something to keep in mind when we think about the benefits. I'd like to cover off a little bit today about the Apprentice Employer Grant, which is a new initiative, a little bit about Adopt an Apprentice, and also to let people know a little bit about a product called Skills for Growth, which I'll come on to in a minute. First of all, the new Apprentice Employer Grant literally only went live last week, so it is very new. It's an incentive for employers who are looking at recruiting staff or upskilling existing staff, and I think that's the really important thing. Yes, you know, in a normal year, people might recruit new apprentices or new young people into a business, but at the moment, a number of businesses are saying that we just don't know if we're able to do that at this stage. So for a lot of employers at this stage, they're looking at their existing workforce and thinking, actually, what do we have already? What young people or adults would we want to give opportunities to upskill, to motivate, to do some succession planning for the future. If we've learned anything in COVID, it's about that, you know, do we have everybody that we need skilled to the level that we need? And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. So it's a great opportunity to look at an existing workforce and look at some succession planning for that workforce too. So it is about recruiting or upskilling people either in the modern apprenticeship or the graduate apprenticeship field. Jacqui and Fiona have both done a great job about talking about both of those. But if you would like any more information, obviously you can reach out to any of us. But our website, which is apprenticeships.scot, has an amazing amount of resources available that will take you through all the different frameworks that are available, which training providers are available, and who can support you going forward if it's something that you're keen to pursue. £5,000, as Jacqui said, is going to be made available for employers taking on or upskilling a 16 to 24-year-old. That increases up to the age of 29 if that individual is either disabled, is a care leaver or care experienced, or comes from a BME background. £3,500 is also available for any recruitment or upskilling of an MA or GA age 25 plus. So the questions that Jacqui was talking about what age does a modern apprentice have to be, again, there is no age limit. So anybody even up 25 plus can actually access funding for that individual, which is fantastic, which kind of builds on the notion that work-based learning isn't just for young people, it's lifelong. Funding is available and is actually backdated till the 1st of December. So should you have recruited someone since the 1st of December or started anyone on a MA or GA programme since then, that can be backdated till the 1st of December. A really important point is that the closing date at the moment is the end of March, but as quite often as with these things, it will stay open until funds are unavailable. So should that happen before the end of March, the fund will close before then. Also, employers can claim for up to 10 apprentices. So if you're doing a big piece of recruitment or looking at recruiting and looking at your existing workforce, you can claim that fund for up to 10 individuals. The paperwork, the kind of administration, if you like, of it all is done by a training provider on your behalf. So please be aware that it's not a cumbersome process for you. Employers are busy. We've all got a lot going on at the moment in terms of managing the world as it is. So please don't think this is a big administrative burden on you. It's absolutely not. Your training provider will support you with it and do the paperwork and do the claim for you, which is great. Also, Jacqui mentioned Adopt an Apprentice, which is just sort of worth you being aware of. You can apply again via a training provider for up to £5,000 should you recruit an apprentice who has been made redundant from another employer. Taking on that individual means a commitment of at least 12 months to allow that young person or adult to complete their apprenticeship. But again, it would be worth a conversation with your training provider about that if that's something you're keen to do and keen to give an opportunity to an individual who has been made redundant. The final thing I would like to kind of mention to you all as businesses, as some of you are very small, some of you are much bigger, but I want just to touch on a little bit of information about a product called Skills for Growth. Some of you might be aware of Skills for Growth, some of you might have used it, some of you might know nothing about it. But this is an opportunity for business to be working alongside a consultant who's independent of your business. And those people have been coming from an organisation called Remarkable, who were formerly known as Investors in People. They will work alongside you as a business and alongside SDS to support you to develop a bespoke action plan, to look at your business, to look what your needs might be over the coming 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years, and think about how you help develop your workforce, how you help take up opportunities that will allow your staff to grow and develop. It's absolutely free to employers. So if you have between 5 staff and 250 staff, it's an absolutely free service, and one that is really useful, like I say, in times of change. And let's face it, who's not going through change at the moment? It supports transition, it supports workforce development, and it's a real opportunity for someone external to come in with fresh eyes, have a look at how things are working in your business, and help you identify any areas or opportunities for improvement. So I just wanted to flag that with you all. Finally, I'm going to share with my colleagues in DYW Moray a couple of pieces of paper information via email, so I'm happy to ask them to forward them out to you. But if you have any specific questions or queries, please get in touch either with myself or with guys at DYW Moray, and we're more than happy to support you going forward. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.
Thank you, Jan. That was fantastic. The new employer apprentice grant sounds really actually helpful, especially in these current circumstances, and also the skills for growth opportunity as well. I hope that employers locally can take advantage of both of these opportunities. Okay, so we do actually have a question that has came through for you, Jan, so hopefully you can answer it for us. We have, what can the £5,000 be spent on?
So for the apprentice employer grant, that £5,000 is a grant that's given to the employer, and then it's really up to the employer to decide how they want to use that. So that money could be put towards the cost of wages, it could be used for additional training, it could really be used for anything. There's no kind of strings attached to the what. There are some strings attached to the fund for existing staff, so those existing staff have to be moving into a different role in the organisation. So there are different pieces of eligibility criteria, but what I'm happy to do, Sarah, if it's okay, I can share those criteria with you, and you can maybe forward them on so people can have a look. But at the moment, there are no restrictions. It is a grant, it's not repayable, and it's for the business to use as they best see fit.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few more questions for you, Jan, if you don't mind. We have a question from Nigel, and he has asked, is there an upper age limit for the funding? If you'd just like to go through that one again.
So yeah, so the upper age limit for the Apprenticeship Employer Grant isn't there. Anyone who's aged 25 and above who's recruited as an apprentice attracts a payment of £3,500. So as with Jacqui was saying, with apprenticeships, there isn't an upper age limit. Anyone can do an apprenticeship. It's not limited just to young people. But like I say, specifically for the employer grant, if you're recruiting a more mature person or have someone in your existing staff that you would like to put through an apprenticeship programme, that would attract £3,500. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And final question: do you need 5 employees for Skills for Growth? One of our organisations has said that they have 4.
Well, from my point of view, I'm more than happy to take that back to our Skills for Growth team and ask the question. I suppose it will depend on demand and supply, but if we could look at that, I wouldn't say no. You know, if we don't ask, we don't get. And I'm happy to push for that. We live in an area which consists primarily of SMEs, and I think it's really important that that's borne in mind when we're approaching for funding. So happy to have a conversation. I think that'll be from Debbie, offline, Debbie, and we can see what we can do to help. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much, Jan. We're now going to. We're now going to bring up Sarah Medcraf, CEO of Moray Chamber of Commerce, who's going to discuss the KICKSTART scheme in Moray. So welcome, Sarah, take it away.
Thank you, Sarah and Amy, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak about KICKSTART today. So as most of you will have heard, listening to various government announcements over the last few months, the Chancellor has announced his winter plan for jobs, and within that was the KICKSTART programme. The KICKSTART programme is the same with most government announcements. It gets announced, it's got bright, shiny lights against it, and then it takes a while for all of the content and the actual on-the-ground nitty-gritty to come through at that stage. Because we're a couple of months in, we are much more aware of what the scheme is and how it can benefit employers. We are a gateway. So what I'll do is I'll explain the process of what KICKSTART is first and what the scheme entails, and then how we at Moray Chamber as a gateway can help you with some of your needs. So the KICKSTART scheme is for 16 to 24-year-olds who are currently on universal credit. And what the government have pledged to do is to pay them to be your employee, essentially, for you to take them on, for you to fund them for 25 hours a week at 100% of the national minimum wage for their age. They will also cover the national insurance contributions, and they will also cover any pension auto-enrolment contributions as well, because we know that all of those can add up, to be a bigger burden when it comes to looking at expanding and taking on staff. What the hope is essentially is that that 6-month placement will take these young people out of universal credit, out of the system, so to speak, give them a real great opportunity with you as an employer within your business. And you can work with them, invest in them, grow with them. And at the end of the 6 months, hopefully you'll be able to retain them. You might not be able to, who knows where the world's going to be in 6 months' time for planning purposes, but it's really important that that sort of open-ended flexibility is in place. As I say, the funding is there for the duration of the 6 months. They do pay the amount of national minimum wage. However, if you are a national living wage employer, which I know we do have some in Moray, you would have to top that up to comply with your living wage regulations. For example, the college, the council, some of these places are national living wage, so would have to make the additional top up. Also, if you wanted them to work more than 25 hours a week and you wanted to have them full time, that's absolutely fine as well. We can advertise that as a full-time position, but you would need to obviously pay the balance of the top up to have them in that full time. What you do get as an employer is some startup costs as well. You get a £1,500 payment when your young person starts with you. And that payment is there to support that young person and to develop their skills. That could be everything from their equipment that they need and their uniform and their IT, but also, and more importantly, it's that sort of wraparound support that you can give them. It might be customer service training, it might be forklift truck driving, anything that you think that young person might need in order to improve their skill set, but also to make them more of value to your company, because you want to grow to help them grow. Essentially, at the end of the 6 months, whether you are in a position to keep them or not, the hope is that they will be much more employable and have a suite of skills than they would have done prior to starting with you or not having that opportunity at all. It's quite a lengthy process, and some of those who are live just now will see the process that we've been through. We've kind of been ongoing with this since October. We've submitted a couple of batches to Department of Work and Pensions who go through the process. It's quite an unusual one for many employers because it's not the same as just putting a job advert out. It's not popping it on your Facebook. It's not putting it into the job centre. It's going through a gateway. So that's where we come in. Our role is to be a gateway. And the reason that gateways have been set up across the country is because if you have less than 30 placements, you can't apply on your own. Now, let's be honest, how many employers are going to have 30 placements for this from day dot? You might have 30 over the course of the next year or so, but certainly not in a one-off. And for the majority of the Moray economy, which is micros and SMEs, it's 1 and 2 placements people are looking for. But as Amy said at the start, we've got over 1,200 young people on universal credit. Everyone ticking away at those 1 and 2 placements is going to make a real difference to these young people who have been disproportionately disadvantaged because of the pandemic. So our aim is to get that down. Us as a gateway will collect essentially the job vacancies that are available across the region in Moray. We will then submit on your behalf to DWP to say this is the 30 minimum, hopefully more, job vacancies that we've got in Moray. They will then go through quite a rigorous process of ensuring that they are real vacancies, that they haven't replaced anybody else's job, you haven't made somebody redundant just to replace it with a 6-month posting, all variety of factors like that. They'll check accounts information perhaps as well, and they will be doing a thorough check before they come back to us to say if this has been approved or not. There is some hiccups, frustratingly, at the moment around those who aren't a registered company, so perhaps partnerships or sole traders. So we are working with DWP at a national level to see if there is ways that we can get around that. There is options out there with Scottish Borders Chambers of Commerce and also with Federation of Small Businesses. So if anybody is falling into that sole trader partnership type category, it doesn't mean we can't help you. It's that mean we'll need to signpost you to somebody else who can. But if you're an ordinary registered company or charity here in Moray, we can help you. Most information's on our website. And what that'll do is also give out the next date of the next batch that we're opening. We're purposely doing it in this batch stage because we need at least 30 to be able to do a submission. So what I wouldn't want to do is keep employers hanging on if we've not got the 30. So we have a closing date, hopefully so far we've had 30 by those dates, and then we move forward in the process. The process should be taking around 1 to 2 months, but realistically, with this being a brand new scheme, and as you can imagine, the demand has been very high for this type of process, we are looking at sort of 2 to 4 months instead now. Lockdown and the festive period certainly haven't helped that either, but moving forward, we are confident that it should be much more streamlined. So yeah, essentially we are a gateway for you to reach out to us if you are interested in taking on a young person under 25 to pay them for 6 months, 25 hours a week. There is other T's and C's within there, as you can imagine, but I don't want to go through them all just now unless there is any specific questions. You'll find all of our information on the Chamber website, moraymchamber.co.uk/kickstart. And also what I do want to say as well is that if you apply just now, the young person doesn't need to start straight away. You can defer that right up until the end of the year. So currently, and it may well get extended, Kickstart is due to end on the 31st of December and will go into 2022. So if someone started, if you applied today and say, I know that I'm going to need somebody sort of autumn, winter next year, or this year, should I say, you can apply now, get your funded place and know that you can recruit somebody come September for a 6 months placement, and it can kick over into 2022. The biggest hurdle, I suppose, on this, not just the time and being able to plan, but actually is the cash flow element. And that's a really important part that businesses need to consider. DWP will get their real-time information from HMRC to ensure that you have paid the individual before they refund the money to us to pay to you. So the chances are it's going to be 1 to 2 months delay. So you need to be able to have the cash flow to pay your young person or young people for that time in order for them to be able to claim it back. So it is payment in arrears, so that's something to consider. We've had some businesses reach out saying, I'd love to take on 4 members of staff, 1 for social media, etc. But actually a lot of these businesses might not have the spare cash flow capacity, as we know cash is king, to pay for them, pay that 4 wages out at the end of the month, to wait for it to come back 2-ish months later. So that is something to consider. As I say, pay high wages if you want to attract a different level of talent, or if it's a particularly skilled role. But equally, there is an opportunity as well to look at taking them on for the 6 months and then looking at perhaps actually we would like to keep them, and then looking at enrolling them in a modern apprentice or a similar program after that. So there's a whole variety of ways that we want to help you invest in young people of Moray, because they're the workforce that are up and coming and will be of the future. So we want to get this right. I think, Sarah, at that point, that's probably enough from me. I am cautious of time and not to go on, but if there is any questions, I'll take them. But if not, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. There isn't any questions at this point in time. If anybody's got any questions, just remember to pop them into the comments box. Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Next up, we have Jane Munro, our Employer and Partnership Manager from the Department of Working Pensions in our region. She's going to cover several opportunities that can support businesses locally. Welcome, Jane. Sorry, Jane, can I ask you please to start again if you can hear me? You've just popped yourself on mute. We cannot unmute you for some reason.
Typical. Thanks, Sarah. I am Jane Munro. I'm the Employment Partnership Manager for Bucket, Elgin and Forest Job Centres. And if there's anybody on from different patches, then there is more of me doing the same job in whichever patch, Aberdeenshire, Inverness. But yeah, today I am going to talk to you about the extensive range of services which can help you grow and develop your business. Our local network of employer advisors can provide a tailored service to find the right people for your jobs and support your local communities. My team of employer advisors will work with you to design a bespoke package to meet your recruitment needs, and that could include providing access to pre-employment training for our customers to give you a skilled workforce for your business, providing work experience opportunities to help people gain the experience to compete successfully in the local labour market, offering a work trial for potential employees to ensure they are suited to that type of role and your company. In addition, we can offer more support to employers who are committed to creating opportunities for people who need extra help to succeed in the labour market, signposting you to sources of advice and support that meet your business needs, and that could include how flexible working in universal credit will benefit your business and help your employees progress and grow in your company, how the Disability Confident Employee Scheme can help your business, and more on that later. Adjustments in the workplace and access to work funding, which can help you support and retain workers who are disabled or have a long-term health condition. And again, I'll cover that in more detail in just a wee while. And finally, advice and support for you and your employees if you need to make redundancies. We can support you to advertise your jobs through our online service, which is used by millions of people every week to find jobs, and this enables you to post and manage jobs online 24/7, 365 days a year, and you just need to register on our Find a Job website to do that. So, breaking it down a little bit further, the first thing I want to speak about is our sector-based Work Academy programme. And this is where we work closely with employers to deliver and support you to create a skilled workforce for your business. So, sector-based Work Academies help prepare those receiving benefits to apply for jobs potentially in a different area of work. Placements are designed to help you meet your immediate and future recruitment needs, as well as to recruit a workforce with the right skills to sustain and grow your business. A sector-based Work Academy can last up to 6 weeks, and placements have 3 main components: pre-employment training matched to the needs of your business sector, work experience placement, which is a great opportunity for your business to identify talent and for the individual to cement their knowledge and understanding of the required role, and lastly, a guaranteed job interview or help with an employer's recruitment process. An important feature of the sector-based Work Academy is that it offers a flexible approach and can be adapted to meet the needs of your business. Placements are particularly useful for young people, but are open to all job seekers aged 18 upwards. If you are unable to offer all 3 components, Job Centre Plus staff may be able to work with you to overcome this, such as enabling you to join together with other similar employers in a consortium approach, or perhaps delivering certain aspects so the work experience can be delivered in a different format, such as a virtual workplace tour. Whilst the participants are on the programme, they will remain on benefits, and we will pay any travel and childcare costs to them to cover any expenses. There is no direct cost to an employer for running the sector-based Work Academy programme, as training and administration costs are covered by government funding. So the types of things we supported recently have been the Aberdeen to Inverness railway upgrades. We found that customers had to have a personal track safety certificate, and very few people in this area hold that particular qualification. We worked with a Glasgow company selecting relevant applicants, and they attended, passed the training, and ultimately, following a spell of work experience, then started into that employment roles. We've also used it regularly working with a local bus company to upskill our customers and help them gain PCB licences, again enabling them to enter into employment with that particular company. And last week we actually started working with Breedens to help 4 customers gain surfacing operative qualifications. So they were doing training last week and this week, and then they will start the work experience placement next week, and hopefully that will lead to jobs for all. If you would like more information about our sector-based work academy programme and how it can support your business, then please do not hesitate to contact me, and Amy from DYW can share my information once this has finished today. So the next thing I want to speak about is access to work. So people with a disability and those with a health condition can offer a great deal to an employer. However, some may need extra support to make work possible, and this is where access to work comes into its own. It is a publicly funded employment support programme and a key element in the government's pledge to get 1 million more people with a disability into employment by 2027, and aims to help more disabled people stay in work. It can provide practical and financial support if you have a disability or long-term physical or mental health condition. And it consists of practical support that allow individuals to overcome workplace barriers that arise from their disability and health problems, either through physical, mental, sensory, or any hidden impairments, such as autism spectrum or anybody with learning difficulties. Retaining people in work is good for employers. It's keeping the expertise and minimising recruitment costs, enabling people to realise their potential. It's also a benefit to wider society, enabling people to make a contribution as effectively and for as long as possible. And it's a known fact that people in work are healthier and more engaged in society. The Access to Work team can also give practical advice and guidance to employers to help them understand how to support their employees. So, what does Access to Work look like? It's a grant that supports people with a health condition or disability, helping them move into employment or, importantly, remain in employment. Customers should have a disability or health condition that affects their ability to work, are aged 16 or over, and are in or about to start paid work in Scotland, and that can also include self-employment. You do not have to work a minimum number of hours to get the support, and that's right, you did hear me right. Customers can be in or about to start paid work. So if you've got somebody that's already working in your business and you don't have any occupational therapy departments, and you have found that a member of your team needs extra support, then they can apply for Access to Work. So the types of things we can help with are special equipment or adaptations, such as Zoom text, telephony equipment, dyslexia overlays, travel support to work for those who cannot use public transport. For example, we had a lady recently who was dyslexic, and DVLA took her driving licence off her. She hadn't had a fit for very many years, but to enable her to continue working, we paid for a taxi to get her to work and back. Other things we can support with is a support work or job coach to help in the workplace, access to a work mental health support service for people who are absent from work or experiencing difficulties with their well-being, disability awareness training for colleagues, communication support at a job interview or in the workplace, the cost of moving equipment following a change in location or job. Employers must continue to provide standard equipment and meet your own Equality Act obligation to provide reasonable adjustments, but Access to Work can help with additional costs once that has been taken into account. Employers may also be asked to contribute towards the cost of one-off support for existing employees, depending upon the size of the company, and full details of the cost-sharing regulations are contained in guidance under Access to Work on gov.uk website. So how does an employee apply for this? The process is very straightforward, and the application form is available on gov.uk. Within 2 weeks of an application being made, a specialist assessor will make contact to discuss appropriate support with individuals and the employer, and will provide a detailed report with recommendations, and grants are awarded depending on the needs of the individual for a maximum of 3 years and are reviewed annually. So just a wee case study for you here. A customer contacted Access to Work recently as he was working as a bus driver, and after a car crash 6 months ago was feeling very anxious about driving passengers once again. He had to return to work, and his employer had made reasonable adjustments for him to work as a conductor. However, he loved his previous role and wanted to return to it. He contacted Access to Work because he wanted to know if there was any help we could offer him. The customer had some counselling after the accident, which has helped him to start driving his car again, but wanted some help to enable him to drive a bus and to start taking passengers. He made an application online and was allocated to an advisor who contacted him and discussed what he was struggling with. The advisor checked to see if he was happy for his employer to be made aware of the application and the condition. And the Access to Work team advisor made a referral to the mental health support service, who provided the customer with 9 months of support. And the last 3 months of that were a light touch approach as his confidence grew, and following the 9 months he was able to return fully to his role as a bus driver. So Access to Work, great programme. It's really there for anybody and everybody to get access to support any of your employees, or if you know of anybody that's about to start work. So have a read of the guidance on gov.uk to find out more information about that. And lastly, just want to finish off by talking about Disability Confident. This is our scheme that supports employers to make the most of the talents disabled people can bring to your workplace. More and more businesses are signing up to Disability Confident every week, and the scheme helps employers think differently about disability and improves how you can attract, recruit and retain disabled workers. Being a Disability Confident employer could help you discover someone your business just can't do without. And whether an employee has become disabled during their working life or you're looking for new recruits, Disability Confident can help your people fulfil their potential and contribute fully to your team's successes. By being disability confident, you'll also be seen as leading the way in your business sector and beyond, helping to positively change attitudes, behaviours and cultures. So, Disability Confident helps businesses draw from the widest possible pool of talent, secure and retain high quality staff who are skilled, loyal and hardworking, save time and money on the cost of recruitment and training by reducing staff turnover, keep valuable skills and experience, and improve employee morale and commitment by demonstrating that you treat all your employees fairly. It's really simple to sign up to become a Disability Confident employer, and most of you are already Disability Confident and probably don't even realise. To be recognised as Disability Confident, you just need to agree to the commitments and identify at least one action that you'll carry out to make a difference for a disabled person. So the commitments are inclusive and accessible recruitment, communicating vacancies, offering an interview to disabled people, and providing reasonable adjustments, supporting existing employees. And to support somebody that's in receipt of DWP benefits and has a health condition, you would just offer one of the following selections. So it could be offering a work experience placement, a work trial, paid employment, an apprenticeship, a student placement, or a sector-based work academy placement, which I discussed earlier. As I've said, you're probably already offering one of those services and you just don't realise. And if so, the scheme is a great way of letting everyone know that you're serious about equal opportunities for disabled people. Once you've signed up as Disability Confident, you'll receive a certificate, a badge for your website under the materials for 3 years, and a self-assessment pack to help you continue your journey to becoming a Disability Confident employer. And once you receive your badge, you can use that on your recruitment, you can use it on your website, and it just lets people out there in the big wide world know that you are a Disability Confident employer, and you can support those people potentially with one of those offerings that I've mentioned. So how do you sign up? You just head to www.gov.uk and search Disability Confident, and it takes literally less than a minute to sign up. So that's me today. Thanks guys for letting me have this opportunity, and thank you to Sarah and Amy from DYW Moray for organising this. And back to you, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jane. We do have one question that has come in, and the question is, how much is the Access to Work grant? Is there a limit on it?
It's a significant amount of money is what I will say. I can't tell you the amount of money, but the Access to Work team would work with you to support that person with whatever is required. So yeah, it's quite a bit.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Jane. Our final speaker this afternoon is Amy Cruikshank, definitely last but not least. Our Opportunities for All officer from the council, who will cover the Moray employer recruitment. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi everyone, I'm the Employability Manager for the Council Employability team, and I'm here to talk about the Moray Employer Recruitment Incentive. It's a new incentive, and you're maybe thinking, why do we need another scheme? Well, it's quite different from what Sarah was talking about with KICKSTART, in that KICKSTART is a universal programme for anyone, for any young person to be matched into, whereas Moray is different in that it is much more of a supportive job placement, so it's for employers to think about if they would be willing to offer a supported job placement for up to 12 months. The reason why we've introduced Moray is because we've received additional funding from the Scottish Government through the Young Person's Guarantee. So yes, it's administered by the council, but it's very much managed and coordinated by us all of us that have been on this event today. So it's a partnership approach, and we've decided to offer this for a 12-month programme. It's a recruitment incentive wage subsidy, which is will be equivalent to around about 50% of the salary for a year. So this could be around 6,000 maximum for anyone on national minimum wage, and could be up to 11,000 for someone on living wage. It can be ranging from 16 hours to 40 hours, and it's open to all employers in Moray, in particular encouraging SMEs to offer some vacancies. 0 hours contracts would not be eligible, and the funding can be used not just for wages, but also for any training, supervisory costs, travel to work. So when we say it's a supportive work placement, what we mean by this is what we have is a list of target groups that this Moray recruitment incentive would come under. So this could mean that the young people have faced a variety of challenges in their life, and they're potentially not 100% job ready. We talk about people being job ready or not job ready in our profession, but this may mean that the young person is not 100% job ready, but this is an opportunity to give them a chance. We provide additional in-work key worker support, so you're not on your own. We would provide a key worker who would work with yourself and the young person over the period of the 12 months that they'll be with you. Young people, obviously, could be a huge asset to your team. And here's a list of the kind of young people we could be talking about. They could be a young person with a disability, long-term health condition. They could be care experienced. They could be a carer for an older person in the house, a person that may have convictions, an early leaver from the forces. They could be long-term unemployed for up to 6 months, and obviously with the impact of COVID, this is relevant to a lot of young people. They could be from an ethnic minority or gypsy travellers, lone parent. They could be of lower qualification than level 5. They could have additional support needs, be in unstable housing, substance misuse, at risk of redundancy. There's quite a long list there, and I felt it was important to put that across to you, because sometimes when you say supported work placement, employers are not quite sure what we mean by that. The Moray scheme aims to promote fair work principles. So if you are a minimum wage employer, obviously that's okay, and we could get you signed up on this scheme. But we would hope that on their road, they would be on the road to fair and sustainable job at the end of it. It could be a pre-apprenticeship offer, giving somebody a chance for 12 months to then progress to an apprenticeship. It could be an offer beyond KICKSTART. There could be young people that have support needs that are on KICKSTART that then you might want to use this scheme to then continue on their placement for a further 12 months. The Young Person's Guarantee money we have it now, so the funding is available now. It's a response to COVID, and it's to ensure we give the right support is available in the right way at the right time. So we're looking for expressions of interest at this stage. And you can email us at murraypathways@murray.gov.uk to get an application pack. I don't have a lot else to say, and it's been obviously a really informative event. I've got one quote, well, not a quote, but one statement I would like to put up on the screen. Yes, thank you, Amy. So I thought I'd put this up to say that we need to change our mindset. We need to not think about young people as a problem. We need to think about our young people as no problem. So if anybody's got any questions, then I'd be welcome to answer them, or you can email me in at murraypathways@murray.gov.uk. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Amy. I think that's a really powerful message to finish on. This is a great scheme to support young people in Moray who need it most. So if you would like to give that young person a chance, then certainly get in touch with the contact details that were on the screen previously, but they will come out after the event as well. I can't see any questions that have come through, Amy, so I would now like to just finally open up the floor for one last time for any questions for any of our panellists that any of the businesses may have. I'll just leave it for a few seconds, and if not, we will finalise the event with Amy running through our final comments. Okay, I cannot see any burning questions coming through. So I would just like to pass on to Amy. I hope you've enjoyed the event today, and I hope that you've got as much information as you can, and follow up with us if you want any more information. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you for joining our event today. I hope it has been beneficial to you all and you have got some information to take away and now think about. Please note you will be able to access a recording of this event on our YouTube channel to refer back to. As previously mentioned, we will be creating a leaflet and an FAQ sheet, which will be a one-stop shop that provides a summary of what has been discussed today. If you have any further questions that you haven't had a chance to ask our panellists, or if you would like to find out about the next steps of any initiatives that we have discussed today, please send me an email and I will be able to put you in touch with the correct person. So I'd just like to say on behalf of the panellists, DYW and myself, thank you very much again for joining us today. Take care and stay safe.